Welcome to Beyond the Classroom with Miss LaRose, where we go beyond the surface of education and get into the real conversations that shape our schools. Today we have a special guest. His name is the Sekayi, recording artist, musician, teacher. Sekayi, would you like to? Oh, and writer.
Yes.
Songwriter.
Yes, songwriter. Let's not, yes.
Sekayi, can you tell us a little bit about yourself before we get into the nitty-gritty of it?
Yes. My name is Sekayi. I have been a teacher for 6 years, which is wild to say and think about. I am also a recording artist. I am a working writer, singer. I teach voice when I'm not teaching.
That's
in
right.
School. What else do I do? Love to cook. Yeah. I'm a New Yorker to the bone.
New Yorker to the
Brooklyn
bone.
down, BK all day.
Brooklyn is the best borough.
It is the best borough. It's whatever anyone else is saying is untrue.
Untrue. Okay. So today we're going to be talking about, as I said, education systems and what schools actually need beyond policy. When people hear education systems, what does that mean to you?
Education systems to me means, well, I'll say the education system is an integral part of the village, right? And what I mean by that is, like, we say it takes a village to raise a child. It is a part of that village. But I also want to go beyond, just like raising the child.
Like beyond the classroom, you mean?
Oh, I mean, yeah, I do. That's what I mean. But also, even thinking about the collegiate level, it helps mold and shape the minds of, people of all ages. It's an integral part of the community. So that's what it means to me.
So within the education system, what do you think is misunderstood?
That's a great question. What is misunderstood? I think, well, to my last point, I think what is misunderstood is there's the idea that we are the whole village. We are not the whole village. We are an integral part of it.
Definitely.
Deeply necessary. But I feel like, especially at the primary school level, there is an expectation for the education system to be the miracle worker and to undo all of the things that society has, bestowed upon us. And the reality is we can't do that. So that's I think the misunderstanding. We are not the whole village. We are part of the village. We are not the faith leader and we're the emotional support, but we're not, raising the children fully.
Right.
We are part of that journey.
That actually brings me into the next question, which you kind of answered. Where do policies miss the mark?
Policies. Here's what I'll say about policies, educational policies in the last 10 years or so. I think they've gotten a lot better. And done a really good job at protecting children, right? I think where they missed the mark is in I don't think they're getting a lot of their research, if you will, from people in the classroom, right?
Oh.
Everything.
So where are they getting their research from if it's not people in the classroom?
Studies and, Harvard this and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, that's cute and all, but I'm dealing with real kids who have real, world problems, right? Who, and 25 completely different human beings at that, right?
Sometimes 32.
Sometimes 32. God forbid 40, And I feel like they come from, a lot of the policies come from top down rather than coming from bottom up, right? there's not enough people listening to people who are actually teaching in the room. That's where policy
It's
messes
almost
the
like
mark.
they took out the human side.
Yes,
Okay.
I would say that.
Yeah. So, and essentially, the education policy systems have removed the human side of policymaking and focused.
100%.
And what do you think they're focused on instead of the human side of education?
I think they're focused on arbitrary results, you know? And I say arbitrary.
Yeah. Can you give me some examples of results?
Yeah, so for instance, in New York State, we have the Regents exam for high schoolers, an exam that matters to literally no one anywhere else in
Okay.
the world.
Okay.
Once you leave high school, it doesn't even matter to the SUNY system, like the SUNY college
Oh,
system.
okay.
Like, and I find a lot of state tests, rather than being an assessment of a child's ability, to be more insurance that the teachers did something all year, you know, and so we're really focused on results in that way, right? Focused on getting state test results, who has the highest region score and the reading and math score and blah 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 blah. But the reality is we're not actually teaching kids to really read, to really do math, to really write. We're teaching them how to respond well to a testing prompt to get a certain score,
Okay.
so that we can, keep our funding, keep our charter, keep our this, keep our that, blah, 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 blah. And I find that really, there's a depth to education that's missing because of it. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So you see a gap even in high school students
Oh,
when it comes to
100%.
literacy.
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
Yes. And I will say of my high school, where I work now, that because of the kind of program we do, I think we do a really decent job of having depth within our curriculum, our curricula. But sorry, please ask me that again.
You said that you see a gap
Right.
in literacy, right, in your school. Well, not in your school, but in high school
But in
students.
high school students.
Okay.
But I will say, even with many of my students, because they're coming from these elementary and middle schools that were so focused on making sure they knew how to respond to,
Prompts, as you said, yeah.
right? There's like a lack of creativity. There's a lack of critical thinking, right? And with that, a lack of like true literacy. Like they can read the words, but do they understand what it's saying?
Yeah. And do they know the meaning of a text that they've just read,
and
right?
Not just the surface level. Do you know the meaning behind the meaning,
Behind
the
the
double
meaning,
meaning, the
yeah.
juxtaposition? Like, can you pull that out? Yeah.
So where do you think the education system kind of built a gap between when you were a student, which was a different time, and when these students currently?
Not that much of a different time.
No,
I'm still young. Still a spring
you
chicken.
are indeed. So you are very, very young. So where do you think the education system created a gap? Where was the change? Because I look at you as someone who obviously is younger than me, and you grew up in a different generation than me. So you have this way of speaking. You love literacy, you love reading. And this doesn't mean that students don't, but there's definitely a difference. But I think it's very connected to the education systems and the policies that they changed within the last few years. So can you tell me, what do you think changed? And I know you got to go way back when you were in school, but that's okay.
I don't know that anything changed when I was in school, or if I was part of the changing tide.
Oh,
You know?
tell me more.
Because I I don't want to say I'm an anomaly because I do have fellow, young people, young adults, who are equally as excited about literature and reading and learning as I am. Um, and I don't even know if it's like the vast majority of us, but what I can say from what I see is that, dare I say it, maybe, hold on, let me go back. Um, I don't even know if it's the vast majority of us. I just know that um, the desire for information and the desire to challenge information has, you know, dwindled.
Dwindle, that's actually a really good word.
Thank you.
It definitely describes where education was to where it's becoming now because of policy and because of the systems.
And I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's just policy. I think it's also a societal thing.
Okay. Okay.
Coming up, Snapchat was huge, and Vine when that was a thing, and these 6-second videos and whatnot. And I think we're just so used to getting things like that, right? That we don't really have it. Excuse me. Excuse me. That we don't really have a desire for to really take our time and learn something and read something and engage with something. On top of that, I would say that No Child Left Behind, if I were to name a policy, did serious damage because what it really did was it just pushed kids forward who weren't ready for the material, right?
Okay.
Rather than allowing for kids who are struggling to have the opportunity, for lack of a better term, remedial education, to make sure that they have a foundation so that they could build off of.
So you just mentioned a very important policy. Do you think around that time is where things started dwindling?
I would say yes.
Okay. Okay.
And then, I think that compounded with society. Because even when I was coming up, it was like, you can't use Wikipedia as a real source. And that's all we wanted to use because it was easy. It was right there. Why would I go search in an encyclopedia for something that it's already telling me here?
Yeah, the Wikipedia.
And so I think it's a mixture of both policy and society's technological and social advancement. The desire, again, to really take our time and engage with educational material, right? To challenge ourselves, right? To challenge our thinking, to challenge our, cognitive skills, to challenge our perspectives. All of that dwindled the more we could get into our own silos and echo chambers and compounded with, oh, well, we're just going to push you forward, so you don't really know what it means to do research and challenge your research and have a hypothesis and then be wrong and
And be okay.
and be okay with
it being
as
wrong.
well,
Which is definitely something in my generation we learned about. We learned to accept defeat and also build ourselves back up again.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm going to backtrack a little because you said something super important. You said that students they were pushed forward. Do you think because of the way the system was, teachers also changed the way that they taught? Or do you think teachers are still equally as passionate about what they do?
I think teachers are still equally as passionate about what they do. I think now because you have so much choice, it's not just public or private,
Yeah.
right? There's a lot of there are lots of different approaches to how teachers express that passion.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't think it's because the reality is, because if I'm going to be honest, when I started teaching, I didn't start teaching because I just wanted to always be a
Yeah.
teacher, you know. But the moment you get in front of those kids, it's like something clicks in you. It's like, oh, this is really not about me, you
Yeah.
know? And so I think it's hard to earnestly do the job and not be passionate, about what you do,
About what you do.
you know?
That's such a great point. And I'm glad that you went there because now we're going to talk about some positive things. What are some positive things currently in the education system that you think is working well?
Um, I will say the push for social emotional learning, especially since
Oh,
COVID,
yes.
has been
Yes.
excellent. I find that students really have the language to express themselves. I have students who will look at me and be like, I am in real life having an anxiety moment. I
Wow.
need to like a second to step away. Can you? And I'm like, oh my God.
Oh,
Yes,
I love the way you're
please.
expressing yourself.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you for
That
sharing.
is
Thank you for being
great.
comfortable enough to tell me that,
Yeah.
Um, I think I think DASA. What does that stand for again?
DASA. Continue.
It's oh, I knew it. Um, Dignity for All
All
Students
students.
Act.
Yes.
Yes. DASA, I think, is great. I think that's done a lot for protecting students, in particular, in my experience, from teachers who are a little
Biased.
biased, problematic per se. I grew up with teachers who, God bless them, it was a different time. But they would say some wild things to us. We'd get a question wrong and they'd be like, "Are you?"
Okay.
Yeah. And
Wow.
yeah, I know. And I just find that teachers are significantly less likely to even go. They really think critically about what they're saying and doing, which is important because
Yeah.
again, we are in fact like we have an impact on these other human beings, right? Um, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else that you think is working? You mentioned something about choice.
Yeah. Now, in my head, I want to say, and no, choice is great. Having Montessori schools and
Yeah.
private schools and charter schools and, public schools and magnet schools and all these, choice is great because not everyone is the same,
Yeah.
right? A kid who can't, function, or I don't want to say function, but a kid who
Can't perform at their
can't
best
perform at their
ability.
best in a 25, 30 classroom setting should have the option to go to a 12 to 1, that should be accessible to them,
Yeah.
right? If parents want their kids to be multilingual and they want to send their kid to a school whose focus is, building that up into like they should have the option
Yeah.
to do that.
Yeah.
I think we could do better at like making sure standards are truly aligned, right? And I think we could do a better job at equipping teachers with a multitude of masteries, if that makes sense.
Okay. Tell me more about the multitude of masteries.
So a teacher should be able to, let me just say, because I don't teach math. I'll be very clear about that. Okay, I only count my money. Um,
Oh, Sekayi.
but, I find, the new way of teaching math with, Common Core and all of the, the new fancy ways of doing addition and multiplication and all these things, I I don't understand it. That's not how I learned it. But I think a teacher should know how to do that for the kid who understands that. And they should also know how to do it for lack of a better term, not that I'm old school, but the old school way, for the kid who just gets it that way,
Yeah.
right? A teacher should be able to teach a concept kinesthetically and, audibly, and, they should be equipped with the ability to do that so that they can meet the needs of the 25 to, God forbid, 40, different human beings in front of them,
Right. Right. Yeah. So essentially, you're saying that you like the idea that now all students can access the curriculum and the lessons based on the way, in theory, based on the way the teachers put in the time and the work.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So, final question. Okay. Based on what we spoke about.
Excuse me. So sorry. Thank God this is edited.
What do you think schools really need?
Can I be completely and totally honest? Funding.
Funding?
Yeah, surprise.
What, even private schools?
Even private schools.
What?
Even private schools. Schools need funding. The
Okay,
best funded schools need funding.
Okay.
Right? And I say that because if it is true that we say we are who we are.
Yeah.
Where we want to develop the whole person, right? It is important that we fund schools so that we can develop the whole person. We fund schools so that, extracurricular activities aren't built off of the backs of teachers who are already working 40 plus hours. We fund schools so that teachers are paid like the professionals they are, right? Like the folks who are required to get master's degrees and certifications and take tests. So that and there are, if we want to talk studies, there are many studies that show that the better paid a teacher is, the better outcomes their classroom has, And so we need to fund schools like they are the gems that they are, not like they're just some place we put children so that we can push the capitalist machine, and we have something for them to do while we trudge along.
Trudging is a
we need funding. We need real funding, not just a percentage increase. We need a multi-time increase in the kind of funding and I think we also need to change the culture of schools. Like, school should be a fun place. School should be something that kids look forward to, that teachers look forward to, right? School shouldn't be a place of dread where it's like, oh my God, now I have to come here and learn to do this and that, right? Because then once we change the culture of school, we change the culture of the desire for information, right? Long term, right? And it's, that's what I think schools need. They need funding, they need money, and they need a culture shift.
A culture shift. Yeah. Well, Sekayi, thank you so much for joining me for this very important conversation.
Thank you.
The last portion of this is called rapid fire questions.
Ooh.
Okay. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
The beach or the Arctic?
Oh, the Arctic. You knew this. You knew I was going to say the Arctic.
I knew that. Sneakers or fancy shoes?
Fancy shoes.
Really?
Yeah, because I love a heel.
You love a heel?
I love
okay.
a heel. I do. I didn't wear one today, but yeah.
Breakfast, lunch, or dinner?
Hard. We'll kick lunch out of that. Breakfast. It's more versatile.
Breakfast. That was kind of hard for you.
It was hard for me because I do love dinner.
You do? Okay.
I really do love dinner. Actually, really, I love brunch.
You love brunch. Okay. You love a good brunch.
Yeah, I love a good brunch.
Well, that is it for today.
Okay.
If you want to be a part of this conversation, please follow me on Instagram at Beyond the Classroom with Miss LaRose. You could also follow me on YouTube. Click the link in the bio if you'd like to be part of this conversation. Thank you for joining us. Bye.